This show is sponsored by Alicia's Pillows and Things. Check out the Facebook page, Alicia's Pillows and Things, where you will find home decor you will not be able to resist at prices anybody can afford. Check out the pillows and stools of your favorite sports teams. Maybe you want a set of your kid's favorite cartoon or movie character. You can also get full body and neck pillows as well. Log on to ngscsports.com and go to the Alicia's Pillows and Things tab on the homepage to complete your order. It makes a great gift for Christmas at an affordable price. NGSC Sports. We never stop.
You're listening to NGSC Sports Radio. Hear us live on ngscsports.com, where you can get awesome analysis for all things sport. Or check out our podcasts on iHeartRadio, Spreaker, iTunes, TuneIn, and much more. For our latest videos, head to NGSC Sports YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at NGSC Sports and like us on Facebook. NGSC Sports. We never stop.
Oh my god!
Was that not just the greatest moment ever when you hit the thing and said he stood up and masturbated over the corpse?
So, okay, cool, sure.
I think we have a title for this week's podcast.
I can't. Holy shit!
That was magnificent.
Welcome, friends. Welcome to
the new year.
Yeah.
New year, new us.
Yeah. Oh, fuck.
Absolutely nothing has changed.
Oh, God, it's so true. Oh, I even got hiccups. Welcome, everyone, as I try to stifle my hiccups manually. Oh, this is going to be terrible. Welcome to episode 295 of the Foreign Affair podcast. My breathing will be hitched as I try to inhale deeply. It's not working. Oh boy, this is going to be great. Oh my god. Welcome everyone.
If it wasn't for that amazing open, we would totally just stop, let you get over the hiccups and start again.
Yeah, no, we have to keep going. That's too good to cut out. Welcome everyone to the Foreign Affair podcast. I'm Edward Green. Joined as always, returning to the pod after last week, with my colleague in crime, Wes Bradshaw. Yeah, happy New Year.
Jeffrey Dahmer podcast. Here we go.
That's the spinoff we've all been searching for here. I tell you what. That's oh man, I feel like we know what we're getting in the watch for. I just don't want to see that hanging over you if you're a lifeless body.
Yep.
The worst part is if you're not actually dead, but you're just like in a coma. But he doesn't know. Well.
Oh, that Jeffrey. What a scamp he was.
He's such a scamper. Welcome, everyone. Hope you had a great and happy holiday season with a great Christmas and a wonderful New Year's. If that's your jam. If not, then hope it was a good Tuesday, Wednesday thing. It was great. So, welcome, everyone.
You got your day off work.
Yeah. I've had many days off work.
Or be like me, work and get paid for a holiday on top of it.
Hey. Well, if you're gonna have to work on a holiday, you get paid. That's not bad. That's not a bad way to do it. So yeah, we're gonna be having a podcast. We have plenty of Premier League football to discuss. We'll be going over some of the bigger storylines that have developed over the last couple of weeks, as well as months, as we've crossed the threshold of the halfway point of this Premier League season. We'll also, of course, have news and notes. We'll have the Watch 4 and
Nope.
Okay, didn't even have to ask. That's how in sync we are, folks, already in the new year. So, of course, speaking of being in sync, we are in sync with the great NGSC Sports, because at ngscsports.com, we never stop. Go check them out online. They've been doing a lot of bowl game coverage. If that's your jam, go check it out. The bowl games.
I love it. Watching the Georgia Bulldogs right now.
Oh, I just saw it. I think actually I saw the NBC Sports thing pop up on here. So thank you, NBC Sports, for reminding me Georgia's playing. Oh, that's I guess I'm assuming that game's on ESPN.
Correcto. It is halftime. Dogs up 19-0.
Oh my goodness, that's good. It's the battle of the dogs, or no, bear.
No, they're playing Baylor. They're
Yeah. It's fine. That's fine. So
Bears, mister. They're bears.
they're all canines and Ursas and that sort of thing. They're all in the same family. Some zoologists going to prove me wrong. But that's okay, because you can check that all out on ngscsports.com. As well as, hey, listen. OGS. I know you're a big fan of this podcast. And I just want you to know, you and your friend Ed, I know we'll get into it later. There was a very mean Italian man out there who said very terrible things about you.
What is Carlo Ancelotti up to now?
Not that.
No,
Italian.
if it was a mean Italian, it was probably Fabio Capello.
One of them. But you know what? It's the holiday season, and nobody needs that in their time of life. You want to think of the good times. So if you guys want to get a Sir Alex Ferguson body pillow, I'm sure.
I'd rather not, but that sounds amazing.
Hey, what you do with it is up to you. But if you're OGS or Sir Ed, maybe you just want to cuddle with it and remember the good times. When your club wasn't attacked by a fat little Italian man who happens to also represent some of the biggest stars in your sport. Maybe you want to do that. I don't know. But I do know that if you want to try to do something like that, maybe you should go check out Alicia's Pillows and Things. She has great stuff on her website, tons of new stuff. And if you go check out on her Facebook page, which I'm going to do right now because, it's not like this podcast is, just flowing smoothly or anything. I'm going to go check out what she has live as of this recording. If I can get to
You
this.
do that, I'm going to stand up. Never mind, I'm not going to do that.
So we're going to check this out as we go to Alicia's Pills and Things Facebook page. She also has, of course, a ton of NFL stuff. Hey, still, if you're a Cleveland Browns fan, hey, your season's over. I think the NFL's done for the regular season, and I don't think you guys made the playoffs. So hey.
Ed Green does not watch the NFL at all, and he didn't have to reach at all to know the Cleveland Browns didn't make the playoffs.
Shocking that I was right on this one. So go check her out on her Facebook page. Just search for Alicia's Pills and Things, and you'll find it right there. First search result pop up. Great sales, great deals.
The most important question to ask.
Yeah.
Any NFL fan. We still them boys?
Them boys. Oh, them boys. That boy.
Just remember, Ed, the Dallas Cowboys will be watching the Super Bowl just like we will. Optionally. And on television if necessary.
Yes. Where's the Super Bowl this year? Is it in Dallas?
No, I don't know. All I know is it is the greatest Super Bowl ever because it's Super Bowl LIV.
Live. I see what you did there.
Liverpool!
I was gonna try to see if I can make a. I don't have enough NFL knowledge to know who's won the Super Bowl 6 times, but or 5 times to make it. Anyway.
The Patriots.
Have they?
Yeah, I think Tom's got 6 now. I think.
Huh.
Steelers have won a bunch.
Yeah, I figured the Steelers would have won more. That's.
Dem boys. I want to say Brady's like 6-3 in Super Bowls. It's been like 9 of them.
Super Bowl team records. We're doing this because it's a new year. We fact check the podcast live. Let's see.
We fact check the podcast at all. That's the new thing.
That's true. Let's see. No. Yeah, you're right. Patriots have won 6. Steelers have won 6. Actually. Yeah. Wow. I thought they would have won more than that.
I want to say. Have the 49ers won 6 or are they at 5?
Niners are at 5, Cowboys at 5, Packers and Giants at 4.
Right.
Oh my God.
Carolina Panthers still at a whopping 0.
Oh yeah, that's Oh, that's so disappointing.
Keep pounding. It's all about Cam, baby.
Is it still?
No, apparently they hate Cam now. I don't.
Doesn't matter.
I'm a huge Kyle Allen fan.
Oh, okay.
Only because, he actually made them worse, which was easy to do.
Oh, but again, go check out Alicia's Pills and Things on Facebook. That's what we're talking about here. Get your stuff ready. Also, those cartoon stuff, so go check that out. So, Premier League, that's what we're talking about. The season that will not stop. And it's like, hey, you look at the schedule, and there's no Premier League matches this weekend because everybody gets the weekend off. Wrong. It's an FA Cup weekend, you fools.
You fools!
You were tricked. And for some of you, you'll also have a League Cup semifinal next week. Ha ha!
Ha ha! You fools!
Oh my god.
We took care of that. Thank you.
Yeah.
We let the kids play.
Oh man, I know it's great to have so much soccer, but like, come on, guys, what are we doing here? What are we doing?
Just remember, every other European league is on break right now.
Well, that's when I go onto my Soccer Scores app, and every day it's literally just the Premier League and the Championship for like the last 2 weeks. That's it.
I mean, if this doesn't tell you why Brexit, I don't know what will.
That's a good point. It got started off in style, though, from when we last left off from Boxing Day. On Friday, February 27th, a big game between Wolves and Man City. Nick Petrovic, so happy. Maybe not with how it started, but he was happy with how it ended. Man City falls to Wolves 3-2. They do it again at the Molineux, thanks to 2 goals in the final 10 minutes, one from Raul Jimenez and one from Matt Doherty, to swipe Man City and Raheem Sterling's double off the table and get themselves a massive 3 points. This Wolves team proving that they are indeed for real. And even with Europa commitments, although Europa's not going on right now, thankfully, they are still shrugging along this season and will comfortably be, it looks like, a top half of the table team, maybe even better yet again. Saturday, Brighton beats very struggling Bournemouth 2-0. I don't know how to say his last name, but we'll talk about him a little bit later.
Dude, Jabba, I'm not looking at it. Jabba Kanashis, that's what I'm saying.
Jahan Baksh.
We'll go with it.
Alareza. We'll call you by your first name. It's one name, like Pele, because he scores goals like he's Pele. He had the goal in that one. Everton, new manager bounce. They beat Newcastle 2-1 thanks to a brace from Dominic Calvert-Lewin, remember him. Southampton gets a late draw with Crystal Palace 1-1 thanks to Danny Ings, who is quickly becoming, yes, the MVP of the league. Don't at me, anyone. Watford beat Aston Villa 3-0. The great Troy Deeney with a brace there. Leicester rebounds from their very tough week of matches, because yes, it's a week in the holiday season. This is like your third match of the week. They beat West Ham on the road 2-1. Damari Gray with the eventual winner in the 56th minute. Tottenham and Norwich drew 2-2. Harry Kane's penalty, the equalizer late in the 83rd minute there. And United, hey, they beat Burnley 2-0. The kids came to play that day. So that was the Saturday. On Sunday, Chelsea gets past Arsenal 2-1. Arsenal having a great first half through other MVP of the league, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, with his goal in the 13th minute. But Chelsea scored 2 late goals through Jorginho and Tammy Abraham.
Can I throw something out real quick? After you and I had our discussion about, kind of like the shadow MVP of the league being Aubameyang.
Yeah.
I think I put something on an Athletic article. I commented about that. I thought Aubameyang was by far, at least, Arsenal's MVP. Mm-hmm. And I was harshly rebuked by a gooner.
Okay.
So, it really hurt my feelings so bad.
Obviously.
This guy called me an idiot, a moron, horrible thing. And he proceeded to go on a diatribe about how Bernd Leno was really their MVP. And I'm sitting here, and just every match that goes by, I'm like, I would love to talk to that friend again.
I will say this.
Tell me again how Bernd Leno's your MVP.
I will say this in Bernd Leno's defense. I do not think he's actually been bad. I think he's saddled with an atrocious defense in front of him, and I believe he's had to take the most saves in the Premier League this far.
The man has David Luiz in front of him. People give him a break.
So I can almost see the logic. I can almost see where this twisted mind comes into play that says, well, if it wasn't for Leno, we'd be giving up 8 goals instead of just the 2. And so, okay, maybe. I think...
But also the problem is he's at fault for many of the ones they do give up.
It's fair. I don't know. I think that's insane. I think to have a reasonable discussion about one of them being Arsenal's best player this year is fine.
I was open to.
I think calling someone an idiot for saying that is just so stupid. Like, I'm sorry, it's not hypocritical. I'm calling this man an idiot for calling Wes an idiot. Sir, you're an idiot.
So, of course, I very maturely ended this by saying, look, say whatever you want to about your table team. I'm heading back to the top of the table to follow my team.
Oh, I'm sure that went over very well. Oh, the internet at its finest. And Manchester City, with the rebound, gets another 2 goals. This time they hold Sheffield United scoreless to win 2-0. And then finally, Liverpool beats Wolves 1-0. Sadio Mane with the lone goal in this one. But Wolves making Liverpool work for every inch of what I believe was their 18th win of the Premier League season.
18 wins out of 19 matches.
Yeah.
Yep. For Wolves, I'm going to give Wolves some credit here.
And you should. They're great.
Yeah, absolutely. They had a 48-hour turnaround of this match.
Mm-hmm.
Adama Traore, who is, just turning into, holy shit, Adama Traore.
Yeah.
He had expended so much against City. He didn't even come on until about the 60th minute. Mm-hmm. And he wreaked some havoc once he got in there. VAR reared its head in this match, upholding a Liverpool goal, which right call off Lallana, and then overturning a Wolves goal just before halftime. Which here's my thinking of it. Letter of the law, if we're talking millimeters, he was technically offside. And we're not getting into a VAR discussion tonight. That's not the thing here. But to me, it's not so much a question of VAR at this point. Mm-hmm. I think at this point, just when we get to the offseason, the Premier League is going to have to discuss adjusting the offside rule. Mm-hmm. I mean, because this is freaking ridiculous. I mean, your big toe is offside, therefore no goal can count.
Yeah.
And it was very... I mean, when I saw it, I was watching the match, I went, damn, that was nice. Oh, well, they got us 1-1. We'll give them in the second half. And then it goes to – and I was off as a fan, as a Liverpool fan, but I'm also sitting there going, oh, my God, that is so freaking harsh.
Yeah.
I mean, that's harsh like the Firmino armpit being offside was harsh. I mean, where does that mean absolutely anything in this goal? But letter of the law. But Wolves had some chances late. They actually skied a few balls in the last 5-10 minutes there. Wolves came ready to play, man. And Liverpool do what they did, man. They grind it out. They find a way to get 3 points. And that's really the big difference in Liverpool this year and the Liverpool we've seen in the past, where, Liverpool in the past, let's say 4 or 5 of those wins end up being draws. Mm-hmm. But this Liverpool team, they just got something, man. Klopp calls them the mentality monsters. They freaking refuse to lose. Nothing else you can really say about Liverpool. They refuse to lose matches, and
absolutely
they find a way to get it done. And suddenly they're finding a way to keep clean sheets. Mm-hmm. And it's like, shit, what are they going to do next?
What I do want to really quickly before we move on, just ask one more question about Wolves, not so much about them particularly, but just in relation to the teams around them. And I'm going to go with, they're at 30 points right now. Chelsea at 36, United are at 31, Spurs at 30, and Sheffield United at 29. That's their immediate vicinity teams. Would you say that Wolves on a given day are the best of that five team group?
That 5-team group, I think they've got the best ceiling.
Okay.
Really, out of that group, I think when playing at their best, Wolves is probably the best team out of those. But obviously, Wolves' biggest issue, which kind of seems to be the issue with all the teams in that group, is just consistency.
Sure, absolutely.
And I don't really throw Sheffield in that because Sheffield United is punching so far above their weight right now.
That's fair. That's fair to say.
That I mean, how can you give them anything but A+ for their season so far?
Oh yeah, for sure.
So for them, I don't even think it's consistency. I just think it's, when it comes to sheer talent, they don't really belong in the conversation with those other four teams. But Wolves, I think Wolves have the highest game day ceiling of all those teams, but they're just not consistent enough to put it together, really.
And I will say, out of those five, they are joint lowest losses, along with Sheffield United, actually, with 5, fewer than Chelsea, United, and Tottenham. They're just a few too many draws for Wolves, especially in the early part of the year. But this team has been such a joy to watch over the last couple of years, and
doing well in Europa as well. So
yeah, and I think what it really speaks to is, because we saw last year when they came up, we saw them and Fulham both come up kind of at the same time, and both spent, I wouldn't say crazy amounts of money, but both did spend a lot of money upon coming up that summer. Wolves seemed to spend, though, very intelligently in a lot of people we weren't super aware about at the time, but seemed to have scouted very well for players that could fit in not just with their team, which has a very Spanish Portuguese tint to it.
We'll call it the Iberian tint.
There you go. But also, these are players who can play in the Premier League, because we've seen so often there have been times when guys come over and they're so heralded, but they can't adjust to the Premier League. And the guy you mentioned before, Adama Traore, is like a pinnacle of a guy who was built to play in the Premier League and is now thriving in it. And I'm very interested to see how long can Wolves hold on to him. I know that's the most cynical thing in the world to think, but I hope they can.
Well, you think of Adama Traore, he's taken an extremely interesting route to get where he is. I mean, this guy was like a Barcelona kid. Started off at Barcelona, kind of got caught up in that I'm stuck behind Messi, and also
rough life.
With Barcelona, they love to spend money up front.
Oh yeah.
And it's almost like, the Barcelona Academy heralded, which I think a decade ago was a very legit title bestowed upon La Masia. That said, in the last decade, Barcelona has turned, we just got to go out and buy players.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think Traore just kind of got caught in that. Took a weird one, ended up at Middlesbrough. Played in the championship. And for him, I think I don't want to say he's a late bloomer. I mean, it's not like he's old. I think, God, he's in his early 20s. So I'll let you look that up while we say it. But, it's taken him a few years in England to kind of putting everything together. But I think right now for him, he's definitely in right situation, right coach in Nuno Espirito. And I think right now he is in a fantastic situation for him to showcase his talents. He's got those really good midfielders around, including, Ruben Neves, who is tipped to play for one of the bigger clubs in Europe before it's all said and done. he was one of those, as we talked about 10 of this team, Jorge Mendes is kind of unofficially on payroll. Mm-hmm. And of course, he's a Portuguese super agent. Yeah. So, you look at that team and they do have a lot of Hispanic players. They've got Raul Jimenez from Mexico, Ruben Neves. They've got João Matinho. They've got Rui Patricio. So a very beneficial relationship between themselves and Jorge Mendes. And plus, they've got ownership that is willing to go out and spend money.
Oh yeah, and that's a good thing.
It's a really good combination right now for Wolves, and they're in a really good spot in their history at this point. And I would love to see Wolves continue to get better.
And I believe we will for the next the foreseeable future here, even as we're going to get into their match today just to reveal the score. And so, not the best of days for them, but there will be better days.
We're talking about consistency. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. As we get on to the New Year's Day matches here, after a very brief respite for these teams, Aston Villa beats Burnley 2-1 thanks to a 41st minute goal from Jack Grealish. Chelsea, speaking of that consistency, they get the draw 1-1 at Brighton and Hove. Cesar Azpilicueta with the first goal in the 10th minute, but Alireza with the goal of the year already on the first day, with a fantastic equalizer for Brighton to get the 1-1 draw there, and gets them a very nice point against Chelsea as the Christian Pulisic media bandwagon starts again. He hasn't done anything in 8 matches. Oh God, and he might be hurt, but he's not because he said so on Twitter. So oh God, what's that? Guys, it's gonna be fine. Just please calm down, please. I beg you. I don't want to go through this every 2 months. Please, just calm the fuck down. Thank you. Leicester also sort of exerting their influence on other teams again. 3-0 winners at Newcastle. James Maddison with the goal in this one. Southampton, a very big win for them. Danny Ings, he scores again as he beats Tottenham 1-0 in a very poor showing for Jose Mourinho's side, but it's back to Jose Mourinho as we know and love him when he said I don't remember the exact phrase he used, but he basically called Southampton's manager an idiot, which is great.
Well, no, was it Southampton's manager or was it the official?
Oh, I thought it was Southampton's manager.
See, I thought it was the official because he said yes.
Oh.
Or, yes, I received the yellow card and I deserved it for yelling at an idiot or something.
Oh, okay. No, okay, so, he was booked by referee Mike Dean for going over to the Southampton bench after arguing with goalkeeping coach Andrew Sparks over parent time wasting. Quote, I think the yellow card is fair because I was rude, but I was rude to an idiot, and for some reason I was rude. And because I was rude, I deserved the yellow card. Josie, wow.
Oh, that is peak holy shit. Cuddly Josie. Nah, that was a facade. Yeah. This is the Jose Mourinho. This is the Jose Mourinho that we not only deserve, but we need in our lives.
Yes, welcome back. That is the best New Year's present I could get besides an actual win. That delicious. I love it. Never change, Josie. Clearly you haven't. Watford beats Wolves 2-1, as we kind of alluded to earlier. Very important win for Watford if they want to try and get out of the relegation zone. Jared Deulofeu and Abdullah Doucouré with goals in this one. Not Nito enough for Wolves in this one, but he did have a goal in the 60th minute. Man City gets 2 goals from Gabriel Jesus 7 minutes apart in the second half to beat Everton. New manager bounce. Already over for Everton. Richarlison does get a goal for them, but Everton.
Well, that said, it is City here.
Yeah. I just like to joke because we like to joke at Everton's expense here.
And of course, we know what their next match is.
Yeah.
We'll get to that later. Yeah. They're on the FA
Cup. West Ham. Speaking of new manager bounces, they beat Bournemouth 4-0. Mark Noble with a brace in this one in the first half to get
young, hungry, super genius on the sideline for West Ham.
As we'll get to a little bit in news and notes. And then finally to round out the day, a Connor Wickham late equalizer was enough for Crystal Palace to steal a point at Norwich City as they are trying so hard to get out of the bottom of the table. But again, let a chance to get a full 3 points slip through their grasps. Unfortunate for them. So as we do take a look at the schedule, unfortunately, there's only one more match for this holiday season. It is the Liverpool match against Sheffield at Anfield, 3 o'clock tomorrow. So by the time this goes up, it'll probably have happened or be happening in the present tense.
Usually, yeah.
So, any thoughts? You've already talked a little bit about Sheffield United when we mentioned them earlier, but any thoughts heading into the match tomorrow?
Just want to say one thing for Liverpool here. This is how it's happened this season. You never know what might happen tomorrow, but it is at Anfield.
Mm-hmm.
We don't lose at Anfield, it seems like.
It's true.
I believe we're like 50 matches now without a loss. So, I'm going to predict a Liverpool victory over a good Sheffield team.
Sure.
But that will kind of put a stamp on where this season is going, because not only have Liverpool had this historic start to the season, but you're telling me, including a freaking box for 2 matches, that Liverpool are not only going to go in the festive season, they're going to fucking win out in the festive season.
It's crazy.
Holy shit, folks! I'm sorry to say, it's just the fucking year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, really, this run Liverpool's on it, be it Liverpool, be it anyone, you've got to look and say, this is just freaking incredible what this team's doing right now.
This is Tiger Woods in his prime.
You're right. That is a great way to put it. This is Tiger Woods in his prime. This is Alabama, Nick Saban, when he was running everybody. This is basically that.
So
this is incredible.
I do want to get one thought before we move on to our table look here. I did see Arlo White on Twitter. We love Arlo. Mention something to the effect of the Premier League coronation commences. I believe it was before the last match. And a lot of the responses he got were, shut up, it's not over, shut the fuck up, this hasn't ended yet, shut up, don't jinx us, shut up.
100%, do not jinx us. Every other fan in the country, it's over. And they're doing it, Ed, I'll tell you why, because everyone hates Liverpool.
Of course.
And what they're doing is they're throwing it out there right now, it's over. If somehow Liverpool lose, it will be better than Christmas, New Year's, Boxing Day, and everything wrapped into one for those fans. If Liverpool lose this title somehow, so yes, you build them up like there's no way they can. Then if something happens, you absolutely demolish them.
We will be fair to Mr. Arlo White, not a Liverpool hater by any stretch of the imagination. We do love him.
But it's just we have. Yes. We have been in these similar positions before, and it doesn't go well.
Yeah.
I don't think we've ever been this good, though, when we're done.
That's my thing. I'm like, this is... The last time I feel like we were talking like this was 2 years ago when City was going to wrap up the league in April. And this is kind of what it feels like again, to be honest.
Well, and the similarity in that... And say last year was like back then there was no one running down.
Yeah.
And right now there's no one running down.
Exactly.
Right now, Liverpool. Let's once again let's assume a victory over.
Sure.
Let's assume a victory. That's to put Liverpool 13 points ahead of second place
with
a match in hand.
Yep.
Which. Let's just be liberal. Let's say they draw that match. That's a 14-point lead.
David Moyes is going to do them in. Don't worry.
That means that Liverpool would have to lose 5 matches while Leicester went perfect the rest of the season to nip them by a point. Liverpool have lost 1 match in 2 years.
I just...
I mean, it is what it is. I'm not going to be the one to say it.
Okay.
But I think I am being the great American that I am.
Yes.
And Americans are allowed to have optimism in life.
Of course.
You know what I'm thinking here.
Yeah.
And the numbers back it up, and it would be. I think someone said the only way Liverpool loses if Jurgen Klopp and the rest of the team like go through the Bermuda Triangle and the plane doesn't come out the other side.
Yeah, basically.
So it is what it is, but you got to respect the gods of football, and you don't say it out loud. But, I mean, it is what it is. It's incredible. Like you said, it's peak Tiger Woods. It's Alabama. It's the Yankees under Joe Torre.
Yeah.
It's like shit. It's like you just have a feeling this is what's going to happen.
And the crazy thing is, and I did talk about this a little bit last week when I was alone on the pod, but it's crazy how kind of chaotic this season has been, where it does feel like to an extent anybody can go and beat anybody else, even Norwich. Like,
right,
you don't count them out, except Liverpool.
And especially at Anfield.
And that's why, like, if this Liverpool was like just like a little bit worse, like I'm talking maybe at two losses and a draw so put them at subtract what? 7 points?
Subtract 6 points.
6 points. Okay. So they're at what? 49.
So then they're 4 up. They're 4 up, say a win tomorrow would say 7 up with a game in hand.
Yeah. And then I'd say
basically almost 10 points up at that point.
Yeah, but that's about also what they were up last year. Even though I think it was City had match in hand.
City had the match in hand last year. That's right. And still had.
But that would also be they've lost twice, so you think okay, there's chances for them to lose.
Right, there's chinks somewhere.
Yeah, and craziness can happen. So at that point, you'd say, are we in line for maybe one of the greatest overall Premier League seasons ever? Like from top to bottom of great clashes every week. And it would be. Unfortunately, that's not going to be the case. And this is going to be this season is going to be dominated by 2 things. 1, Liverpool, and 2, VAR. And we'll see in about 5 years which one ends up being remembered more from people. But it's a season, man. It is a season.
And right now, are on pace.
That's 110.
God, is it 110?
It should be.
I mean, Liverpool are on pace right now to absolutely shatter. Well, let's look. It's 38 games.
Yeah, they're halfway through and they're at 55.
38 times 3 is 114. Liverpool have lost 2 points, so they're on 112.
Wait, how is it 112?
Because they've lost 2 points, so they could still get 112 if they win out.
But
37 wins times 3 is 111 out of 12.
Why is my math crazy? Because if they're halfway through the season, you should just be able to double their point total,
match in hand.
Yeah, but
we still have a match in hand because we haven't played, right?
But you're at 19 right this second. It's 11:14 on Wednesday night. You're at 19 matches, which is exactly halfway through the season. So you should just be able to double
19 times 357 plus 57. That's 114. Jesus Christ. I don't know.
Anyway, okay. Yeah, it's a lot.
Either way, I mean, they are on a pace to utterly shatter the unbeatable record set 2 years ago. Oh, God, nobody will touch this. Shit. Man, City scored 198 points over 2 seasons. Oh, my God, who could do that? 97 and 110. Oh, shit.
It's... I give up.
I'll say, I see a great way to describe this Liverpool squad this week is this team they look to this point like a mix of Klopp's Dortmund and Pep's Barcelona.
Yeah, I saw someone else say that this week. Yeah.
And that's an interesting way to really think about it. Because, since Klopp's been there, they can get him. If you put a good defense in there, if you put a compact defense in there, they're screwed. Yeah, now they can break down compact defenses. It's like, well, you can get in a shootout with them. And now they're keeping clean sheets left and right. Shit. It's like, what do you do right now? And basically right now going to Anfield, it's like, okay, let's just not try to get our point differential killed. You know, I mean, teams are literally going in Anfield right now. Try not to get blown out.
So
it's insane right now.
I will say, and I know I've said this like I think 3 times now, but after this point we'll move on. I promise. And I need you to somewhat remove your Liverpool fandom for just like 2 seconds here, because I'm just something I've been playing in my head because I thought about this 2 years ago when we had the City season. When they ran away. And then last year, I didn't have it, obviously, because Liverpool and City played down the wire.
They're right there,
And now I'm kind of thinking about this again. What if we had a playoff at the end of the year? Even if it was like 16, if it was like NFL style, 6 teams, top 2 teams get a bye, team 1 gets to pick their opponent after the first round is done. I've been thinking, and I'm like, like this season it'd be good because it would give some meaning to the next 4 months. I know you don't want to say that, but I'm going to say it. But then you have a year like last year, and it's like, well, then do we just wait for the inevitable final match again between City and Liverpool and see how that plays out? And I'm just wondering, would a playoff format be fun, great, good for the game, whatever you want to say, for the Premier League?
I think it'd be. I mean, it would be fun for the. Don't get me wrong on that. It'd be fun for the viewers, but in all actuality, especially the Premier League, as much as they play, and then you take those teams who most likely would end quote playoff. They're in Europe. These are teams that are going deep in Europe. These are teams, they're playing deep into the FA Cup. You're just adding kind of more at the end of the season onto these guys.
My one argument would have been, in this scenario, we also eliminate the League Cup.
You can't do that. It's obviously the most important cup of them all. Just ask the English.
Oh my God! Shut up.
Just ask the English media. How dare Liverpool disrespect the competition?
They're idiots. Fuck them. Because my idea was then you play. What I think you would do is I think you would have the 3, 6, 4, 5 matchups would be a 1-game playoff at the higher seed, and then the semifinals and finals would be a 2-leg thing. And so for that, you're only adding for right now with the way the table is, Liverpool and Leicester would be 1-2. For them, you're adding 4 matches, and you're taking away however many they would have played in the League Cup. For Liverpool, I guess it'd been 3, 2, 3, something like that.
3, yeah. Leicester's still in it. Yeah.
So that kind of balances out a little bit.
And the only thing, and I know, so we'll just get rid of. Sure. But I mean, you got to think now. I mean.
I know there's other clubs. I know.
Yeah, I mean there are other clubs.
There's the FA Cup, the magic of the FA Cup.
Yeah, but I don't know. You know, Mexico does this basically. Liga MX does this.
I mean, MLS does it too, and we like to rag on MLS, so maybe it's a bad idea.
Yeah.
But I'm just
and then it kind of comes down. Shit. I mean, almost the closest you could compare it to then is like college basketball, actually, of all things.
Yeah.
You know, where it still means something to win the regular season.
Yeah.
And then you have your tournament.
Yeah.
You know, like in the NFL, it's like, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
You know, it matters. It matters. You know, it matters win the World Series. It matters win the NFL final or the MLB, the NBA final.
And that's what I thought, like, because it was back when the Seattle Mariners won the World Series, or didn't win the World Series. They won 116 games in 2001.
Yeah.
Or 2000, whenever it was. And it was like, okay, but they lost in the ALCS to the Yankees, so who fucking cares?
Yeah, I mean, we vaguely remember it, but it's not like, oh, Yankees.
Yeah.
And I would, sort of a purist part of me, I would hate to lose. And I will cap here and say this, you know, let's say that was the case. And, you know, for 30 years, Liverpool have been vying to win this league title. And so, oh my God, we won the league. Okay. Well, that doesn't really count.
Yeah.
Playoff. And who gives a shit that you got 109 points this year? Because here's, here's Chelsea who got 74 points, but on the day, Virgil van Dijk sprains his knee and won.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, well, your season's shit now because you didn't win the championship.
Yeah. Oh, there's definite downsides to this idea.
So
I agree.
Yeah. I kind of think, I almost think that's kind of like what your domestic cups are for, really.
Okay.
Because I believe, and I feel that MLS loses this with the way it's set up with the divisions and everything. I think, winning the league is the reward for being over that long, grueling season, being the best team.
Sure.
It's not because you got hot.
Right.
And when you take a look at Europe, look at it's not so much about getting hot, but it's a competition because it's about a home and away match. It's not about who's been the best team for 9 months.
Right.
And I believe that's why the league is as important as it is, because the league rewards your overall picture.
Sure. Absolutely.
Where even Europe, which, I mean, obviously, as the 6-time champions of Europe.
There it is.
There it is. I mean, that's awesome. It's amazing. But at the same time, I mean, Liverpool may have the team that goes down as the worst team to ever win a Euro Cup. Maybe with 2005 and Stevie. This was basically Stevie G, Sammy Hupia, Jamie Carragher, and who the fuck, and Xabi Alonso, excuse me, and who the fuck are the rest of these guys? And it was basically, hey, it's like we say, it was one night in Istanbul.
Right.
I mean, we should not have been on the field with AC on, but, for 45 minutes, shit went our way, and we won a shootout. Liverpool, we're not truly the best team in Europe that year. So, that's tournament style ball, and tournament style is different than the entire season that we're seeing. I mean, like I said, to get back to the point, for the viewer, it would be fun. I mean, it's kind of like the college football playoff.
Yeah.
At least with the college football playoff spread out, you can just about always get the 4 best teams and 4 teams that deserve to be on the field with each other. And it makes sense. But think if you started doing 12 for the college football.
Yeah.
And it'd be like, now, wait a minute, why does the 3rd best team in the Big Ten, why do they even deserve the chance to knock LSU out of this thing?
Right.
Why does Penn State deserve to even have a chance to out of it? When they couldn't even win their division, they had their ups and downs all year, where LSU's been just the shit. So.
Yeah. No, unlike your Gooner friend on the athletics comments section, I'm very open to having a debate about this, and very well may be wrong. But
I love the debate. That's the thing. I mean, hey, you come with your side, I come with mine. Maybe you turn me a little bit, maybe I turn you a little. It's like, all right, well, agree to disagree.
Yeah.
We can still be friends.
Yeah, exactly. Here we are.
Still be friends.
We're still doing this.
Speaking of Liga MX, Monterrey just
Yeah.
playoff. They were the 6th seed. So
Vincent Janssen wins the trophy. Well, yay.
Good for Spurs. I'd be the only one that you.
Yeah.
Oh,
Now we're winning the FA Cup. Don't worry. Joe, exactly. We're doing the double. That's why we brought Josie in. So quick look at the table. We've been going around this.
Finishing 8th in the league.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, that means we don't have to play. Wait, we win the Champions League. We go straight into the Champions League next year. Doesn't matter
But
where
if
we
you lose the Champions League final, you're not stuck in Europa.
Exactly.
It's brilliant. It's Josie.
Oh, he's a masterclass 4D chess.
Mourinho is on a level that we cannot fathom.
Oh, man. So Liverpool, again, 10 points up on Leicester, 2 matches in hand at the moment. That will change very shortly, one way or another. Man City, 1 point behind Leicester. Chelsea, 8 points back of City in 4th. United, 5 points back of Chelsea in 5th. Tottenham, Wolves right there in 6th and 7th with 30 points. Sheffield United right behind them. At the bottom of your heart, the relegation zone, Aston Villa currently sitting just outside of it with 21 points. Bournemouth. That's me hitting the panic button on Bournemouth. They're at 20 points right now in the relegation zone. Watford just behind them with 19 in 19th. And Norwich are in last place with 14 points with time slipping away.
I'm really scared for Bournemouth, and I hate it for them. They have been so beat up this year.
Yeah.
I mean, just, God, you want to talk injuries, murdering a team. That's poor Bournemouth right now.
And that's something that's just so brutal. And I guess we have to respect them, you know, in what has become a very trigger-happy league. The fact that they have not fired Eddie Howe yet. I
think they realize what they have in it.
Yeah.
And the absolute miracle that it's been that they've kind of become mainstays in the Premier League.
Oh, yes, for sure. So we will see if he manages to make it through the end of the season, if they are also able to stay up, which I'm sure is the number one concern right them for now, is staying up in the Premier League and getting back on track and getting their guys healthy and ready. Now, it's the magic of the FA Cup, like we talked about earlier. Again, that will start this Saturday, the 4th. There are 2 Premier League matches. They are Wolves versus Manchester United at Wolves, so that'll be a big one. As well as another Merseyside derby on the 5th on Sunday, Liverpool hosting Everton, which I'm sure will go very, very well for Carlo Ancelotti's men. But hey, he's been one of the only people to beat Liverpool this year, so maybe
he actually had good all time.
So
he beat us in the 2007 Champions League final, the one in Athens, the rematch, when we actually had a much better. But we're unable to win that one. And he's done well for Napoli.
Yeah.
Obviously has a good record against him for Napoli. So, Carlo, I'll put it this way.
Yes.
I'll put it this way, Ed. I have a lot more worry in me facing a Carlo Ancelotti side than a Marco Silva, Steven Allardyce.
Yeah.
Basically anyone else they've had in there.
David
Moyes,
Roberto Martinez. Yes.
Well, hey, I heard someone.
Fair enough.
In his 10 years.
Fair enough. Fair.
In his 10 years, he beat him twice.
Fair enough. There's also, if you're looking for an underdog story, there are 2 teams outside of the Football League still in it. They are AFC Fylde and Hartlepool United. Hartlepool will be heading to Oxford, League One side Oxford, on Saturday, and Fylde will be heading on Sunday to Sheffield United. So 2 very big asks for the 2 non-Football League sides still in the competition. There are also a handful of League 2 sides still in that you guys can pull for. But, yep, and then all of it ends on Monday as Arsenal takes on Leeds. Also next week is the League Cup semifinals, which is United versus City, and then it's also Aston Villa versus Leicester. So please enjoy that. It'll be fun, I'm sure, as those first legs kick off. Real quick, as we hit the news and notes section now, we're not going to really talk about VAR because we have already talked about it a little bit. But ESPN, shockingly, has a really good article that I discovered. It has not been updated through today's matches as far as I can tell. But it's an article, How VAR Decisions Have Affected Every Premier League Club. And it has a breakdown of every single VAR decision in this year's Premier League season, along with the team, the outcome, did it go for them or against them, and how many potential points it could have cost them or gained them through the decisions. There have been 58 VAR overturns this season, basically a little more than halfway through the season. A team we talked about earlier, Wolves, are the only team in the Premier League who have not had a decision go in their favor. They are 0-6 in decisions for them. I believe the best team, if I scroll up here, is Brighton and Hove. They have had the most go for them. I believe they are 7-2 in their decisions, for versus against. So hey, if you want to feel like killing yourself, go this one. 32 disallowed goals. Again, these do not take into account today's goals on New Year's Day, which I got at least 5 VAR correction notifications during today's matches on my phone. So that number is definitely higher than 32. But yeah, so we're averaging more than one a week, more than one a match week, about 1.5 a match week so far.
Yeah, it's terrible.
So, yay, VAR. And then, as we were wont to do, we like to pimp the Athletic. Kieran Thivum with a great article on how women's football has risen over the past decade. The article is called "Huge Rise in Full-Time Jobs, Mega Money Sponsorship, and Role Models for LGBTQ Community, an Incredible Decade of Growth." Go check it out. It is a phenomenal piece, as nearly everything on The Athletic is. So please go check that out. Is there any article that's caught your fancy in the last little bit, Wes Bradshaw?
I'm gonna tell you, not just one. Really enjoyed over the past month have been their end of decade articles.
Yes.
They've had some great ones. They've done a lot of team of the decade for the football teams. The kind of teams that define the decade, which has been really cool to go back. Pep's Bayern Munich, which was playing a 3-5-2, and they were one of the ones who revolutionized that. They talked about Germany, the German national team. They talked about for this year. They talked about Liverpool. They talked about Real Madrid with their wins of the Champions League. It's just been really cool. And I love reading stuff like that. Sometimes a whole just analysis of the upcoming match. I can only read so many breakdowns of Liverpool and Sheffield United before I'm like, okay, I get this. I love stuff like that. I've got so much stuff saved for The Athletic that isn't really time sensitive. They're doing a series every day. They're in person. It's I believe it's the 100 greatest players in baseball.
Ooh, okay.
And I mean, it's been, I think they're down 6 right now, so they've been doing it for a couple weeks. And you do a new one each day. It is it's fascinating to go through and really look at, man. There's so much good stuff on there. It is worth the price.
The baseball 100.
Yeah, the baseball 100. That's it. I mean, that's something I'm sure you'll love to go through. I just saved it and I'll go through it. They've been doing something all fall, going through decades of college football. I mean, starting back in like the 1880s. And like, here's the decade of college football. Here's and then here are the big rule changes, the teams who ruled the world, stuff like that. I will give a podcast I do a lot, the Anfield Wrap. I'll give them a pimp because they are actually, if you want to check out The Athletic, get you a little nice price on The Athletic. Check out the Anfield Wrap. They run in conjunction with The Athletic. They have a discount code. So you can sign up. I think it's maybe 10% off for the year or something like that. I don't know. But hey, save you a few bucks. Check out what I think Ed and I both agree is the best sports writing website available. I mean, just anywhere. It's amazing.
Absolutely. And I am saving. I found the homepage of that Baseball 100.
Yeah.
So I will be saving that. That is delicious.
Oh, yeah. There's so much stuff in there. Off the top of my head, I think Gary Carter was 85 or 86.
Let's see. Gary Carter, 86. Yep.
He was on there. Yeah, he was on there. I can't remember off the top of my head.
I can give you the list we have right now.
Run it. Go for it.
Number 100. This is actually I'm surprised he's this low. Ichiro, number 100. 99, Mike Messina. 98, Carlos Beltran. 97, Roberto Alomar. 96, Larry Walker. 95, Tony Gwynn. 94, Roy Campanella. 93, Ozzie Smith. 92, Bullet Rogan. Great name. 91, Mariano Rivera. 90, Max Scherzer. 89, Mike Piazza. 88, Kurt Schilling. 87, Charlie Gehringer. And 86, Gary Carter.
And maybe take a quick look at like what this actually. Suddenly, I'm saying the players ever, and it's like, wait a minute, Larry Walker can't even get a sniff of the Hall of Fame.
Yeah. If you want to go check it out, they do have a breakdown. It's about a 5-point spread of how they are trying to go through this.
Okay, I haven't even looked at it that much. I just.
Yep. So that will be something very interesting. It's running to opening day. So great timing it with the thing. So once again, the Athletic absolutely crushing it. Back to soccer, as the news and notes we do here. As was alluded to a little bit earlier, West Ham have sacked Manuel Pellegrini and have brought in David Moyes. This was, of course, they fired him after losing to what was basically a B team from Leicester, when West Ham lost 2-1 to them on Saturday. West, they just did this. They just had David Moyes, and then they brought in Pellegrini, and now they're bringing back in Moyes. Yes, he might steady the ship. This is what, whether it's in Spain or England, this is what seems Moyes is doing now. But for a team that you were pretty excited about going to the season and was trying to show some ambition in the transfer market, this seems like, with all due respect to David Moyes, a big step back in terms of manager.
The more I read, I think West Ham is just so poorly run.
Yeah.
I mean, they hot potatoed this job like it's nobody's business. Mm. 1 year or 2 years, they're going to decide, we're going to pump a lot to it. And then when they don't get like the 100% immediate result they want, time to fire someone. Mm. I mean, you can't build consistency like that. Mm-hmm. And it's somewhat of a sad indictment at this time. I mean, Pellegrini, this guy has won the Premier League.
Yeah.
Not as many as Josie, obviously, as Josie will tell you.
Of course.
But, I mean, the guy's won the Premier League. He knows how to manage.
Mm-hmm.
And, you're West Ham, and just because things haven't been going your way, well, let's try to figure something out here. But I don't know. I found it kind of a rash decision. But
mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anyway, whatever. Hey, David Moyes being back in is pretty great. And then they go out today and they respond with a new management.
Yes.
Oy, the Glaswegian.
Oh, it's great. Welcome back to the Premier League.
Sir Alex Ferguson's got to be just thrilled.
Yeah. Oh, God. Our next...
I told you to support your manager.
Our next to last story on the day is going to bring in many things that West loves. Destroying Manchester United, Paul Pogba, and someone tangentially related to Zlatan. So that's how I'm going to describe him. A pair of stories here. Mino Raiola, agent to the Stars, came out with some very interesting words in Le Repubblica, saying, quote, Pogba's problem is Manchester United. It's a club out of touch with reality and without a sporting project. I wouldn't take anyone there. They would even ruin Maradona, Pele, and Maldini. Paul needs a club and a squad, one like Juventus was before. Before we get to what is an insanely stinging indictment, my retort, which while I do agree with most of what he's saying, would be, well, then why did he leave Juventus for United in the first place? I mean, I think it was because of the money, but, he was at Juventus. Why did he leave? Anyway, now, with that part out of the way, and then combine that with comments Ole Gunnar Solskjaer said after today's loss to Arsenal, said, when asked about Pogba's injury, saying how long he would be back, 3 or 4 weeks maybe, I don't know. This is the most damning quote, I feel. He's been advised to have an operation by his people, and he'll probably do that. This feels like the end of the marriage. And instead of being an amicable parting of the ways, or what is a very swift cut, as we saw with Maurizio Pochettino about a month ago at Tottenham, this is looking like a very ugly, public, messy divorce between United and Pogba. And Wes, I guess the only question is, does he leave in January or does he leave this summer?
I think it's too big of a move for January.
Okay.
Also, where he ends up is big because, let's not forget, okay, basically the whole with Real Madrid and Pogba is that Zinedine Zidane wants him very badly.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the one player that Zinedine Zidane covets. But the upper management, the hierarchy at Real Madrid, they don't want Pogba because they don't want to give Zidane what he wants. So it's basically a battle of wills. I think if Zidane does enough to stick around for another season, I think there's a good chance he could end up at Madrid.
Mm-hmm.
If not, if Zidane's gone, I don't think he goes to Madrid. I think he maybe goes back to Juventus.
Okay.
But it's also crazy how all of the he needs I think he needs ankles.
Mm-hmm.
Is that right? Yeah.
Yes.
So it's messy. It's completely delicious that it's happening to United. And and the biggest reason I adore him is that Liverpool don't sign any of his players.
Of course.
So I don't have to deal with his shit.
Yes.
The last one that we signed was Mario Balotelli. And I think at that point it's like, okay, we've completely learned our lesson.
Yeah.
We're not dealing with this guy. Especially when on the way out, the Raiola was quoted calling Jurgen Klopp a piece of shit. So it's like, hey, no problem, dude, no problem. You take Lukaku and Pogba and all your super guys, you take them to United and elsewhere. Just you can go to the blue side of Liverpool. Just hey, we're cool. You don't have to come see it. But it is. I think it's in the best interest of both parties for Pogba to leave United. Obviously, he does not believe in the project, in Ollie's project that they're so high on there. And I understand it. When you look at Pogba, this is who is in what are the prime years of his career right now.
Mm-hmm.
These are the years where a guy of Paul Pogba's stature, or at least that Paul Pogba thinks his stature is, he's won a World Cup.
Yep.
This is a guy who needs to be playing. He's playing at a Real somewhere where he has a chance to go win the Champions League. A decade ago, that would have been Manchester United. Mm-hmm. But right now, United are quoted as saying, it's going to be 3, 4, 5, 6 windows before we're ready to compete for the Premier League.
Mm-hmm.
Just for the Premier League. Paul Pogba is not that guy. He doesn't need to be part of a project or a rebuild.
Right.
Paul Pogba needs to be the icing on a very well-cooked cake.
Yes.
He needs to be the guy who comes in to put you over the top.
As he was for France in the World Cup.
He doesn't need to be the main. Like you just said, France with the World Cup. Pogba was the guy who top in the. Mm-hmm. But there were other guys who built that foundation for the French team. And also we're seeing when things are not going well in the locker room. That's not Pogba, but you look at him. Pogba right now surrounded by the Greenwoods, the Brandon Williams. That's the future of Manchester United.
Absolutely.
It's not Paul Pogba. And I think Pogba realizes that. Raiola realizes that. Of course, there's a payday in there for everyone to have. There's a payday to be had. But also, they understand it. I think Ollie understands it, and I think Ollie goes fine to move on from Paul Pogba. Mm-hmm. The problem is you've got that footballing genius, Ed Woodward, running the show, and by God, he sells shirts. Oh, he's so commercially viable. Have you seen his Instagram followers? Oh, blown a load all over my window. Instagram followers, that's what really gets Ed Woodward going.
Sure it does.
Jurgen Klopp wants winners. Ed Woodward wants guys with Instagram followers. Pep Guardiola wants guys who will play his system. Ed Woodward wants to make the front page of the, transfer dealings. So, Josie wants to Josie. So it's a bad situation for Pogba. Pogba's not exactly handling fantastically, which, why would we expect him to? But I really think it would be a big boon for all involved to let Paul Pogba go to Spain or go back to Italy.
I think we have come to an agreement with that, and we'll just see how many more torches get put on this bridge before the transfer is done. Last little bit of news and a little bit of U.S. American news, I guess. DeAndre Edlin looks to have broken his hand, unfortunately, in Newcastle's latest match, and that is bad enough on its own. But this also came in a stretch where 5 Newcastle players got injured in 15 minutes. I can't ever remember something like this happening, Wes. This is mind-bogglingly bad.
I mean, it's crazy. And suddenly, well, in Newcastle standards, they were doing pretty consistent.
Yeah.
You know, they're right around the mid-table. In a season where I think Newcastle, a lot of people, shit, this team could easily get relegated. Steve Bruce, this isn't going to get well. They've, under the radar, done about as well as you could ask for them this year. And now suddenly a team that is not deep at all is suddenly dropping like flies.
Yeah.
The only saving grace is that it's the end of the festive period.
Yes.
So at least they are kind of coming up break time. And I don't think the FA Cup's going to be the be-all, end-all for Newcastle. So, you know, maybe small blessing in disguise is the timing of it. So, yeah, it's crazy, though. We'll have to see what happens. I have to see what happens to Newcastle because they have been a pretty surprise this year.
They've really bounced back after what was a very tough beginning to their season. All right, so that's going to do it for the news and notes. Let's hit the watch floor. Wes. Why does the podcast name have the podcast it does?
It's really what you want to do right now.
Yes, it is. It's the only thing left on the docket.
So my watch for this week is centered around killers.
Yeah.
Hey, the only show I've been watching is Sopranos. Woo, we're killing on there, obviously. So if you caught the extreme beginning of this show, and I don't know how much.
Some of it. Not all of it, but some of it.
Oh, boy. So I listened to a podcast called Villains.
Okay.
Which is produced by the, is it Parcast? Crap, I'm trying to find it real quick so I can get it right because I do want to pimp them because it's great. Parcast. They do a lot of these like interest pieces. So the Villains podcast is really interesting. I think it's one you should kind of get to it. What they do is it's a weekly podcast. They'll do 1 week. They will do a movie villain or a villain from a TV show. Okay. One of the very first ones they did was Antoine Chigurh from No Country for Old Men.
Okay.
So they'll do a podcast like centered around the villain in a TV show, and then the next week they'll come back and they will profile a real life villain who can be compared to that villain.
Okay.
Like so, Anton Chigurh from they did him compared to Richard Kuklinski, who's the Iceman, who's like one of the most famous mafia hitmen of all time. So, you know, it kind of goes nicely in there. I'm looking at it real quick. They did Norman Bates from Psycho and compared him to Ed Gein, the Butcher of Plainfield. Alex DeLarge from A Clockwork Orange. And then they actually, the next week, Reality of Alex DeLarge, and they compared it to, you know, people who had been through similar situations. They have a Kaiser Soze one on here. And really interesting when they did the Joker. They did a whole dive into the Joker, mostly comic book based Joker.
Okay.
Which was interesting because I'm more of I like my Joker more from, I'm not a comic book guy, but it was really interesting for them to go through a lot of that. And then they've come back and the next one they did actually gangs. They compared them to a gang from French anarchists.
Okay. All right.
So it's really, really interesting. So anyway, Parcast, they also do a couple of other podcasts. One of them called Cults. and they just put out a special 3-parter on Jeffrey Dahmer, and that's what I was listening to when you clicked in earlier.
Yes.
And I mean, I'm going to tell you, that's somewhat tame. And then literally at the moment you clicked in, it came with like the most disgusting line that I've heard in my life.
It's the equivalent of when we're watching our anime and everything's all normal, and then your mom walks in and all of a sudden it's the big titty girl doing weird shit, and you're like, no, I swear it's normal. This is it's not like this, I swear.
I swear to God, I've been watching Rambo and I had to go to a strip club and there's like 9 naked chicks here. This is not what I've been watching. I swear to God, I've not been watching. But yeah, they're really, really interesting. They've got really good hosts on these shows who are, do a ton of research, unlike this podcast.
Yeah.
They do a ton of research. They have all their stuff very well put out, very well produced. So, check it out, the Parcast Network, and that is, Parcast is Parcast Network. So
okay.
If that's the kind of stuff you're interested in, apparently the serial killer stuff is really big and people are all into it. So, if that's your deal, it's interesting.
Well, there you go. And it sounds really well done. So yeah, go check it out. After you finish listening to this one, of course. But let's see, what have I watched? Well, tonight I actually just finished the series finale, actually, of Silicon Valley. That show has finally come to a close. The HBO show, very, very well done ending. So that was very, very interesting to see how that show ended, but a very good 6 years of television from them, even if it was a little weird at times and feels a little bit almost dated from when it started, which was only like 5 or 6 years ago, and it feels weird to say that about a show, but here
a lot has changed.
Yes, it has, even in the world of tech, where things move very, very quickly. But hey, it's January and new stuff's coming back. Doctor Who's coming back, if any of you care. But hey, the Superstore and the Good Place, they're coming back. Especially the Good Place is coming back to wrap up their show with their final, I believe, 5 episodes. So make sure, hey, you can start in a little while and get fully caught up. It's only 4 seasons. And I think it's only 13 episodes a season, so should be good. And we're about a month away from 9-9 coming back. Just finished rewatching that entire thing. So good.
I'm still a season behind at this point, so
so good.
I got to get all my catching up in, and it's not going to be the same without Cheddar.
Have you seen the episode about Hitchcock and Scully?
Where they were young?
Yes.
Yes, I told you about that one.
Okay, good. That's right. Okay, yes.
Oh, Jesus God, yes. And then they discovered wing slot.
Yes.
And it changed. It either completely lost, however you want to look at it.
Oh, it made the show great.
What's wing slot?
And do want to mention, I don't know how solid this date is, but it's what's on my app for TV shows. So I'm going to go with it until proven differently. As of this recording, we are 217 days away. And I know that sounds like a long time, but we are 217 days away from Marvel's Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Oh, yeah. Oh my gosh. Since you brought up Marvel.
Sure, please.
National Championship game, January 13th. They're going to have an exclusive first look at the full trailer for Black Widow.
Ooh, well, I guess I'm watching the National Championship game now.
Man, I'm watching that shit anyway. God, that's
fair.
It's going to be awesome, baby.
Southern football. Woo.
Tigers versus Tigers. Death Valley versus Death Valley. Winner gets...
Loser has to change their name. That's
Loser
a
has
wrestling
to
thing.
change their name to the Clemson or Louisiana State water pick.
There you go.
I love it.
That's what's on the line, folks. It's not really, but we wish it was.
But
that is going to do it then for episode 295 of the Foreign Affair podcast. This has been a big one, and of course, I believe we'll have another big one next week. Yes.
Yeah, next week, man. We should be ready to rock and roll. So.
Excellent. Sounds great. So we'll be back next week. Thank you, Mr. Burns. We'll be back next week with an FA Cup and League Cup semifinal recap. We'll be breaking that down. Yay!
We'll be getting ready for.
There you go. That's what it's really all about. So we'll have that. We'll of course have more news and notes. We'll see if anybody else says anything incendiary about Manchester United. And we'll have another watch for coming out the gates. As always, thanks so much to NGSC Sports as well as Alicia's Pills and Things for helping present this podcast to you. They are on the social media, and you can find us on there as well. As a collective on Twitter, we are at AFA Pod. Wes, you are?
I'm at Wes Bradshaw 21. I asked Kat.
I saw that.
She must not have seen it.
Yeah. That's probably it.
I'm guessing she was busy. She was reading the weather. It's cool. It's cool though.
Yeah.
I'm good with myself in life. I'm good. Me and her, we're still.
Okay.
As far as I know.
Cool. Yeah. Sure.
No sheriff's deputy has come out with any papers.
I'm at Edward Green. I am. Yep. That's all. Yep. I don't follow the West. Don't know why you would ask me that, officer. You can also find us on Facebook. You can also find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube via our parent show, The All News Sports Show, and email us at allnewsportshow@gmail.com. Thanks to our podcast providers, including Podbean.com, Stitcher, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, the TuneIn Radio app, Google Play Music, and the iTunes Music Store. So we'll be back next week. But before we get out of here for episode 295, Wes, anything else you'd like to add?
We just kind of mentioned and talking about the speak. The Georgia Bulldogs are beating Baylor with 12 minutes left in the fourth quarter, 26-14.
Go Bulldogs!
Go Dogs! It is the Sugar Bowl, of course, in the college playoff semifinal. We saw a big one there, Ed. We saw the Louisiana Tigers absolutely annihilate Oklahoma.
That was an LOL.
In one of the better playoff games that we've seen. Clemson knocking off Ohio State. Got a big defensive stand late. Got a big touchdown late. In that game, this is crazy now. In that game, for the first time in his college career, Trevor Lawrence played from behind.
Wow.
Crazy is that. Trevor Lawrence has never lost a game that played, much less started. When he was a freshman,
that's insane.
And after that, of course, they won the national last year. They were undefeated. He had never trailed in a game until they trailed Ohio State.
Wow.
So, So a Clemson team that apparently was like one. It's like, but yeah, we have the longest winning streak in the country, and we're the national champs. You kind of need to put us in there.
Yeah.
Clemson proving their credentials, so I am super looking forward to Clemson LSU on the 13th.
Well, there you go. Everybody has something to look forward to in the 13th, so go check it out.
It's like I get Black Widow.
Yes, Queen. So with that, we will say adieu from this edition of the A Foreign Affair podcast. For McCall and Crime, Wes Bradshaw, I am Edward Green. Thank you so much for joining us here this week, and until next time, everyone, stay safe and enjoy the football. It's not holiday football anymore, so yay.
It's not. And good night. Good night, Pellegrini. It was a good run for you, champ. But it's Moisey's West Ham now.
I gotta say,
at least for a few months.
2020 already in rare form, taking the lives of Donald Stern and Don Larson.
Oh man, I meant to bring up Donald Stern or David Stern.
Yeah, David Stern. Him.
David Stern, former NBA commissioner.
Yes.
It's one that. What the hell? Don Larson, man. All right, 2020. We don't need where everybody died.
We don't need another one of those.
This show is sponsored by Alicia's Pillows and Things. Check out the Facebook page, Alicia's Pillows and Things, where you will find home decor you will not be able to resist at prices anybody can afford. Check out the pillows and stools of your favorite sports teams. Maybe you want a set of your kid's favorite cartoon or movie character. You can also get full body and neck pillows as well. Log on to ngscsports.com and go to the Alicia's Pillows and Things tab on the homepage to complete your order. It makes a great gift for Christmas at an affordable price. NGSC Sports. We never stop.
You're listening to NGSC Sports Radio. Hear us live on NGSCsports.com, where you can get awesome analysis for all things sport. Or check out our podcasts on iHeartRadio, Spreaker, iTunes, TuneIn, and much more. For our latest videos, head to NGSC Sports YouTube channel. Follow us on Twitter at NGSC Sports and like us on Facebook. NGSC Sports. We never stop.